Hey there and welcome back. So today we are going to be looking, as you've seen in the last video, at this. Now this is the Hornby Rolling Road. Now, first off, do you need this? Not necessarily. This is the first thing that I am ever going to say in the channel, that you don't necessarily need to have one of these. But let me show you why these are good. I know it sounds a little bit like I'm contradicting myself, but let me just show you why that, depending on the layout that you have, why these are good. Now let's just quickly talk about this, because yeah, I know I just say you don't necessarily need one. Now, if you have a layout where you've got, say, O, double O, TT, and if you've got a mixture of different ones, then I can understand that this is not 100% ideal, because obviously this is designed for double O gauge, it won't do any others. Now, if you have double O is your mainstay, like myself, double O is, I have one TT locomotive and I've got two N-gauge locomotives, which at some point are going to be worked into the layout as like a bit of a, I've got a cool little idea with them based off a couple of real life railways that I've seen. So anyway, so yeah, so I have got very limited with other scales, and my collection is literally 99.9% double O gauge. So for me this is absolutely fantastic and ideal. Now the reason why I'm saying that this may not be for you is just for the one reason, is that this is just double O gauge, like I mentioned, and you can get some out there what are multi-scale. In other words, you know, you can extend them so you can pop them on different tracks, different size gauges, and you can, you know, do everything on them. However, where this absolutely fantastically excels at is that obviously you've got double O gauge, but what is actually been built or made into this. So what I'm going to do, we'll take you down to the desk, because I do have a yeah, sorry, I'm having a bit of a one of those like fiddly mess aroundy days, so I do apologise if you see me twitching a little bit and stuff. But it won't be long, because we're going to head down to the desk. As you can see, just to one side of me there is the actual rolling rod itself out of the box, ready to show you guys. And then just behind it we have our normal little like staging piece. So yeah, so let's go and have a look at this on the desk, and let me tell you and show you why this is such a fantastic thing to have on your layout. So let's have a look at it, and then yeah, let's come back to it. Right, so I've knocked the light on because it was just reflecting far too much of it. So let's have a look at this. So first thing is the connection. It's super easy. Press those in, put your power feed in, and what I've done with this is I've got a little plug on, and then what that allows me to do, it allows me to either plug into DCC or DC, because this will do any. So there is a positive straight off. Now obviously when we look at this, you can see here that you've got a track and there's power going onto this track, so you can choose to pop a locomotive on. In fact, hang on a sec. So as you can see, I've got my loco on. This is set to 8 because it's a little OH Hunter, and there we go. So we can have a little bit of a run on this track, and that shows you there that you've got power going to the rails. Absolutely fantastic. So for locos or bigger locos, say they've got where they are driven by the, they have tender pickups, you can pick up on the rail, you can pick up on these as well. Absolutely wonderful. Now if we take the train off this, and just for quickness, let me just pop these like this. Now you do have to get these right so the train doesn't run a bit on the lumpy side. Let's see if we've got this right. So it's still selected on 08, and there you can see that it works on that on its own without this. absolutely brilliant. Now, I'll just unplug this for a second. So I don't want to touch anything, and there we go. So if we look at this, brilliant, you've got your power going to here, and your track is just mounted ready. Now, if we go underneath, if you see here that you've got power wired into this little rail, or little rod, sorry, on this side and on this side as well. And another thing, this is all made of metal, so this is a very it's not, this little bit's plastic, yeah, but the rest of it is all metal, so it's a wonderfully, it's a heavy thing too, so it's fantastic for you know it's going to sit and it's going to be stable. But if we go to the other side as well, as I just showed you, you can see all them, so that puts power directly into the rollers too. Now, the way that this has been done, obviously it doesn't conduct anything through this, even though this is metal, but it means that you can run a smaller train like this one just on here. You can give it a little test on here, but as well, I mean, I know it sounds pretty obvious to say, but you can just plug a normal controller into this, and then you can run basically any train you want on this. And the reason why having something like this is fantastic, because what this gives you is, oh sorry, before I go into that, and see, you've got this little block here, so when you get your locomotives, as you can see, this is a block what will slide. This is to support the locomotive. So if you've got I've not worked out my diesel yet, but if you've got a long locomotive, or you're having a particular little problem, if I've got that set right, I think I have. Let me just pop this in, and let's just see. Yeah, so I just had to cut that quickly because I was being a bit daft. I'm just having the cog stuck on the middle axle without me realising. But as you can see, that block there perfectly stabilises the locomotive. I've got this running at about half speed, so as you can see, yeah, that's half speed, and it's perfectly stable like that, so you can check for anything that should be or isn't moving properly in the middle. Again, absolutely fantastic. So it gives you multiple running options, and with these wheels, if I just loosen these off, you can slide these all the way to the front, slide this back. So if you have a diesel, you can balance it in the middle, you can have your pickups, and away you go. Now, I haven't tried this with a diesel yet, so you'll have to kind of take my word for it on that one. But as you just saw with what I did with this thing, I mean, the cog's in the middle there, so I can't actually show properly, but you get the idea. So you can move things about, you can balance everything, and you can get your locomotives, or any locomotive, working on this brilliantly. So what I will do is, let me just pop this back on here, and let me just make sure that it's all seems to be nice and secure. And again, all you do, you just tighten these up. You don't need to go mad with them, just like that. And just to show you how stable it does keep your train, there we go. That is, oh my god, that is full speed with the 08. Bit of a wiggle and a wiggle. So you can see at full speed, even just balance on these, you do get a great amount of stability to go along with this. So yeah, an absolutely fantastic piece of kit. Now, the other reason I got super excited about and then got distracted, so as you know, but but the other reason why for me something like this is absolutely fantastic, and do you know what? In fact, let's change the camera, because we've done with this. So yeah, so let's come back to actually talking to you rather than just going just so you're looking at something. us moving around a bit more. So let's just change back quickly. Right, hi. Just so it's a bit better than just staring at a desk and like a bit of metal and plastic. So yeah, this thing. So the reason why I think this is, like I said, why I got excited and then got distracted at the same time before. The thing what makes this, in my opinion, a really good addition to a layout is, I mean, if you've got, say, just 2 or 3 locomotives, then I understand that something like this, you know, if you've got a very, very small layout sort of thing, this may not be handy. But if you've got a half, you know, like a half a dozen locos or more, you're going into DCC or even DC. The thing what's good with this, what's really good, is not only can you use this to just test your locos, this is your programming track. You know, you don't like need to have a siding that you have to isolate or find a little bit or like make something like I've done in the past. You can literally, I mean, this is, as you can see, it's not a massive item. You can quite easily store this somewhere out the way. In fact, the box, if I just find the box again. Yoo-hoo. So the box was kind of right next to me. Ah dear. So looking at the box, if I have got one of these to hand. So this is a standard double O coach box. As you can see, with how big it is, you can quite easily store this somewhere to one side. So it doesn't take up a lot of space either. But again, the really, really good thing with this is that, as well as, you know, it's your programming track, you can use it to test, to run locos on when you're servicing them. If you've got any issues that you need to take a look at, say if it's shorting out on the track for any reason, you want to test the loco to one side so you don't run the risk of, say, damaging anything else on the track. And as you saw from last week's review of the Hush Hush, you know, this works absolutely perfectly well, and you can see everything running, you know, a lot better if you need to, you know, better close up. You can even check underneath in case it's all wobbling around, because you've got that great little bit of clearance here to the locomotive. So yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, this is just over £100. It does sound a lot for what it is, don't get me wrong, but when you take into account it's all metal built, you've got the wires running all the way down to power these. It's perfectly safe powering them without, you know, short circuiting out a loco, because that one was on DCC. So, you know, DCC, the second something's short on it, bang, it'll, especially with the select controller, it will cut out, which great safety feature, but also lets you know there's something wrong. So yes, you've got no issues with that whatsoever. And again, that's just absolutely fantastic. And even on DC, it will do exactly the same. Either just plug in at one end, and it's just dead simple to use. Again, doesn't take up a lot of space. Now, I do have one question before I wrap this up for today. As you can see here, I've got the little diorama what I use with my little like nameplates, if you will, on the front, and this is what I normally use to, say, show off coaches, wagons, trains. Yes, last week's one was too long for it. So yeah, so just to quickly sum up, I'd love to know which one of the two you would like me to use, or even a combination of the both. So with that being said, this I can definitely recommend getting. It's fantastic. I've used it quite a lot already to test things, run things. I help run some stuff in and what have you. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. So if you can get one of these for a good price like I did, absolutely brilliant. So, hope you enjoyed the video on something different, like a little bit of a different part to do with the hobby. And yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So, thank you very much for watching. Thumbs up, like and subscribe if you would, that would be absolutely fantastic. And we shall see you in the next video.